The U.S. state of Minnesota is at the center of a widening confrontation between Washington and state authorities. In the latest escalation, reports say the Pentagon has placed about 1,500 active duty U.S. soldiers to prepare to deploy orders. According to the Washington Post, the move is aimed at ensuring readiness if unrest escalates. The Post, citing unnamed defense officials, added that it is not clear whether any of them will be deployed. The White House told the publication that it is routine for the Pentagon to remain prepared for decisions the president may or may not make. Minnesota has been the site of widespread protests against the Trump administration's deportation drive. The situation intensified after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good on January 7th. The incident widened divisions between federal and state officials over conditions on the ground. Clashes have continued since then. Protesters have faced off with agents who at times used tear gas canisters and pepper spray. The Department of Homeland Security said a dozen people were arrested under this week for allegedly assaulting law enforcement officers. Amid this, the Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation into Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. Walz was the Democratic Party's vice presidential candidate during the 2024 U.S. elections. Both Walz and Frey are being investigated over possible obstruction of federal law enforcement during the protests. Trump and his administration have repeatedly criticized Minnesota's local officials. Trump has accused them of failing to contain protests and protect federal agents. The investigation has raised the prospect of criminal consequences for the two Democrat leaders, Walz and Frey. Earlier this week, Trump issued a warning, saying he could invoke the U.S. Insurrection Act. He threatened to do this if people in Minnesota failed to comply with the law and attacked federal agents. The Insurrection Act empowers the U.S. president to deploy military forces for domestic law enforcement under certain defined conditions. Minnesota has now filed a suit against the Trump administration. This follows the launch of Operation Metro Surge in Minneapolis last month. The operation was designed to target undocumented immigrants from Somalia, but it has resulted in the detention of migrants from other countries as well. Now, the state argues that the immigration operation amounts to a federal invasion. The lawsuit accuses the Trump administration of violating the U.S. 10th Amendment, which sets out states' rights and limits federal powers.